There we go. Sorry, the audio is up now. For those of you watching online, please put your name in the comments to get yourself registered in for the membership raffles.
My kid and grandkid are going to be online.
What?
On the web.
Okay, here we go. Get in with Mike. Get in with Mike for the membership raffle.
Want me to sign him in?
That's what I mean, because I'm going to run him over either way when I just got the audio online. So, again, for those people watching online, there you go. Justin Brinkman just signed in.
Alex, too.
What?
Alex will be there, too, because he's sitting next to his dad.
Okay, I didn't see Alex, but I'm sure he is.
He's sitting next to his dad.
Yeah, I said. And there, now he just said Alex and Dan. Okay.
Oh, I got my spoon boxes and whatnot here.
To show them off again at the tech area?
Sell them.
Yeah. I'll comment. Instead of the whole tour, I'll just comment so you can sell them. Okay. Hey, Sam. Hey, Dan. Thank you, guys. Had the audio not working there for a second. Didn't realize it, but we are up and running. Kill the music here. All right.
They will come out together.
You want to see if there's anyone out there? I'll just pull them in. Otherwise, we'll get started here in just a minute. I see Jim's missing. But he might have gone to get a beverage, Mountain Dew.
Do you want a drink?
Huh?
Do you want a drink?
No, I got mine for now.
Okay. You set?
Yeah. Just let Angelo pull in anyone. Thanks, Ange. So, all right, welcome to the June 10th Salmon Unlimited Wisconsin membership meeting. And welcome to prime salmon fishing season, or lake trout fishing if you're like me. Want to start the meeting off as tradition with sunshine. Angelo was noted by Mary Lee. It's that family, I assume? Your mother? Okay. I'm sorry to hear she passed. Yeah. Okay. So Angelo and family, please keep in mind. Anyone else?
I just had a family member, cousin that passed away.
Who did?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jeff and family as well, the Kingsfields. My wife next week goes in for third surgery on her knee. So keep me in mind. If I'm lucky, the insurance will pay out, and we'll get that big bill.
I'm gonna walk up there just to elbow you.
Finally getting outboards, yeah. Bob, I know you said we've got a guest, or not a guest, some guests, and also announcements. So if I could have you up front for the grants.
Okay, as you know, we give out grants for more than just a fishing club. We like to support our community and good causes. And for the second year in a row, very happy to make a donation to Guardian of the Children. Would somebody like to stand up and just say a couple words about?
He's got flyers. I've got some flyers if you're interested in this. Guardian Children work with abused children. We get support them through their court cases. We have family events every month. And every penny that we raise goes to those kids. All of us here that you see, men and women, are volunteers. We receive no money whatsoever. And our vice president escaped. He went out the door. He don't like talking in front of people. If you have any questions, we really appreciate the donation. It goes towards, like I say, the kids. They get gifts on their birthday, Christmas, school supplies. We get together and everything. During COVID, we literally delivered all the Christmas gifts to their house.
All the kids stay with us until they're 18.
The kids stay with us. We call them littles. They stay with us until they're 18 years old. Then they have the option to become a guardian, or most of them are going to college. You know? So maybe they'll join us when they get back. You know.
And if you haven't heard of us, feel free to look us up. We're online. We're on Facebook. We started out in San Antonio, Texas, and now we're nationwide, all the way up into Canada. So we're spreading nicely. Any donations are great, considering we are a nonprofit, motorcycle organization. And like Bumpa said, everything goes to the kids. And we really appreciate anything and everything, any kind of donations, grants, that's great. We thank you guys very, very much.
The kids do too.
Yes, the kids.
Did you say you have brochures?
I do.
Yes.
I use one, please.
I don't need that.
Anybody else?
I want to get a picture of you all.
Oh,
My friend loves you guys.
thank you.
It's like celebrities.
Let's hope we're over 18.
Anybody else?
We're all over it.
Don't make me blush. Don't make me blush.
I think they're
Got most of our information in there.
I think you're making music.
And like he says, they can look us up online. There's pictures, things that we do, and everything. And everybody's gonna stand up.
Now we come. Come on, baby.
You miraculously.
Actually, Lily, yeah, get this and send it to me. We'll post this online too.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank all of you for the effort that you put into the kids.
I'll take yours first.
Okay, because the president is here, asked to make sure that we get pictures.
Cover those numbers on the bottom of the check with your hand. Thank you.
I mean, this is just white.
That's a banker in me.
It's literally just white.
Yeah. It's amazing what these phones can capture nowadays.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
One more.
Now I have to
One more.
steal
I'm
mine.
not gonna get my hand right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
This is great.
We appreciate you. That's great.
Just on a note, so far this
Oh,
year, we've given out $5,050 to the different.
Oh.
The Buffalo community.
I don't know how to read.
Didn't you see the vice president with the new motorcycle?
Yeah.
Just so happens.
Well, they got one last year, so.
Yeah. Oh boy.
You know, you guys did just promote a new road cast, and I ain't talking about chips.
All right. Well, thank you for coming out. Stay as long as you like. A couple things up for sale. Dale is still got a adjustable Panther mount for a kicker motor available. $250 is the ask on it. And then I was cleaning through my basement to try to make space, and I discovered I had extra rod holders. They look like they got a 1-inch, stainless steel rod diameter, and they clamp down to them. There's 6 of them in total. If anybody has need for rod holders, let me know. And then you want to bring that up now while you got them, or
I showed him to you 2 months ago. But
yeah, well, just at least letting people know what you got hawking.
We got spoon boxes here. This one holds 96 more than a special made does. The dimensions are narrower, and so it may be longer. It also comes with little compartments.
Terminal tackle.
Terminal tack. I got 2 of these on my boat. I keep my swivels, hooks. If you want it in a hurry, you know where it's at. I have one of these on my boat, holds all my spinning globes. I don't have to go searching for them. I need a spinning globe. carry my hooks, snubbers, anything that I need to change out of bait as fast as possible. Especially when you're in a tournament, you don't want to have to go searching for it. If you break one off, you need a stamp swivel. You know where it's at. Just go there, grab it, open it up, you got it. Also got this one's a spin doctor box. It holds 15 spin doctors. Difference between us and the competitor is his are riveted into the bottom. Ours come out when you want to paint box. Whole lot easier wiping this out than wiping around. It's riveted in pieces. This one's for the regular flashers with the one pin on them. This holds 19 flashers. I also got basically these are the same ones. The flashers in there, but these hit the Plano 3721 boxes. Ones in this box won't because the boxes are different. Had to redesign it for new boxes because Plano does not make those boxes anymore. So if you got a Plano box and you want to make it into a flasher box, I got inserts for you. I only got 3 tonight, but I can make more.
Awesome.
We also got a 20-inch spoon box. It holds approximately the same amount of spoons as a special made box does. You buy the box, we'll even give you the tray because we don't want them. And I did sell one to somebody, a box, and he looks at that tray and goes, "Oh, this is great. I'm gonna cut a pool noodles. I can wrap my flies around it and stick them in this tray. I just gotta bring the tray out of the cabin with my flies on it."
How much are the Plano ones that go in, inserts?
The inserts are $10 a piece.
Okay.
For a set. This whole box, competition. Can't remember their name. Jim knows them. I know them. They sell these. This box.
I'm not getting in the middle.
They sell this box for $45. We're selling it for 25. For 12 members, this box is going for 75. This box is going for 65. Other non-club members, they're 80 and 70.
All right. QVC of the night. I know, that's what I was waiting for. All right, get that camera just down, back to where it was. Mike,
Yes, sir.
how's membership doing?
Well, membership has been pretty flat since the last month.
Jackpot's done registering.
Yeah, I guess. But tonight we've got one new member joining us. Want to stand up and introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Rob. I just moved out from San Diego for a job. I just choose Wisconsin chose me, but I'm a tuna fisherman out there, and I never fished Great Lakes, so.
Oh,
I met Dale because I didn't have a car and I needed a ride.
he called me and told me to look for you.
We started talking, and I said, yeah, he's like, come on down, so.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Are you in Racine proper? Or?
No, I'm in Anomaly Falls. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
little bit of a jog to get down.
Yeah.
I work up in Roller Coastal at Harding.
So Dale's out recruiting new members. We certainly appreciate that. I'm sure some of you folks have friends that you need to talk up a little bit more and get them to join. You can either come to a meeting and join or get online at our website and fill it out right there.
Yeah.
I'll send out your membership information generally within 48 hours of receiving the information online.
And speaking of, did everybody in the room drop in and register? Because if you remember, we got the raffles tonight. Tonight's gift cards are from Culver's on Douglas Avenue, one of our most recent sponsors for Salmonorama this year. Fishing reports. I gotta believe that some people have been out lately.
I was out today.
Yeah, in the fog.
Yeah, I didn't go running any place. I just started at the harbor because the bait was in the harbor like crazy and out front, but I didn't get hit till I got up near the point and we went 13 for 23 on the south can.
Okay.
And just circled in that area. And I did have a misfortune of running into a 9-foot branch that was about 4.5 inches long.
Yeah.
Decided to grab both of my riggers And we managed to get it all out without losing too much stuff. So
Yeah,
it was interesting. So there's a lot of stuff floating.
last weekend too, we caught an entire shrub. It missed our downrigger, bounced off it, and then caught the wire diver and went all the way down to the diver.
Well,
So that was fun to muscle in.
Mine got the 2 riggers with the probes and 6 color. After it came out of there, it took my 6 color, and unfortunately, we found it a second time in 1 rigger again. So it was interesting. We lost an hour and a half, but still got some fish.
Lily and I went up to Fishing Has No Boundaries inside the Jackpot event, as you guys know, had a blast. We had 2 gentlemen, 65, 70-ish, I'd say, wheelchair bound, and the elder of the 2, his daughter was a bit cognitively disabled. She apparently really likes Captain Jack Sparrow. So as she was being loaded in by the firemen, she wasn't in a wheelchair. Her dad and the other guy were, but I fired up the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song, and she about lost it. She went nuts. And for the entire trip, how many times do you think we had to play that song?
I would say I put it on at least 10 times.
Yeah, so we had that. It was playing on the radio, and she was bouncing around.
7-minute song.
Remind you, she's like 40, 45 years old. And she's bouncing around saying, yelling, "I'm Captain Jack Sparrow," all the time. So
She was great.
it was fun.
I do have open spot on a 33-footer tomorrow morning out of Milwaukee if they want to go with me.
Oh my.
Jeff, are you inside can or outside?
I came in from the shallow 35 to 45, 50, 60 around the outside, and it was all in that area.
On the outside.
So kind of the hook on the south end?
Yeah, on the south end. Yep.
Okay.
No kinks. All really nice cohos. They're pretty.
It's good info for this Saturday. We have our scout outing. So for those of you who are out there, take note. Bender Park is done. This should be great for so many reasons. But nice to have that launch open, access back to the power plant and the Oak Creek Blue Ball area. Not to mention Sandy's Portical should see a nice boost in sales for her shop. But
They're pretty happy already.
yeah, pretty notable response from the community already going up and using it. I haven't had anybody tell me yet when they've gone through like how deep they got it.
I heard 8 or 9 feet.
Okay,
About 4.
4? Okay.
so not that deep.
Nick took his boat out. and
Yeah, just
we-
yesterday, right?
I mean, you can watch it. I mean, it was 3 feet past his prop. I mean,
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
So
No.
give it a year.
That's exactly what it said.
Yeah, year or two. That might be all it gets. And in addition, this picture was from earlier today, but if you notice, that is the floating pier that we use for the Paralyzed Veterans Association outing, the Salmon Unlimited or Salmonorama PVA Vets outing. That was left in last winter. They, for whatever reason, took a shot at leaving it there, and unfortunately, the ice dams crushed it in a couple spots. So they had it blocked off for about the past 2 months. Just yesterday, the county opened it up, and I couldn't get a picture of it last night, so I swung by this morning and got a photo, but it's back and assembled. They replaced all the damaged wood and reconnected all the steel supports. So we will have that for Salmonorama for the PVA and during Salmonorama just for boats to pull up.
The city also got the piers located in the proper place. So.
We'll hear about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that just the V?
Just the B. That is just that's the west wall.
But the whole west wall?
Yes. Yeah, it was damaged. I think when Lily and I walked it, there were 4 spots that it had been damaged off those supports, and they pulled it out and they took just the chunks out, left the rest in, and took those chunks, did the repairs, and then brought them back and reinstalled them where they were.
Last time I was looking, it doesn't go all the way straight, but I don't know if they fixed that.
It's still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It wasn't all the way across before. They had like a.
It's all the way.
missing.
Yeah, and they removed the cones, so it's back to full service.
Hey.
So, Bradley has a message. I heard him send it to me.
Brian Jackson.
Get that in a sec, actually. Yeah, or if you want to let Mike know, it's fine. All right, Bradley's message says, "Hello, everyone. We just had our first 2 legs of the events completed. Couldn't ask for better. We ended up currently having 24 boats signed up for the season, and the registration will stay open until the 3rd leg for a chance to play both of the last 2 legs for anyone else that would like to join, along with single entry options. Before I speak on current rankings, which I will jump, there's the assortment of payouts again, but here's the meat and potatoes. Before I speak on rankings for both Master Angler and Series overall for trophies, I wanted to state that it is very highly appreciated for all the volunteers who gave a hand from start to finish, and especially everything at the pavilion to fish cleaning station for Salmonorama and for the veterans at VOW. It wouldn't happen without them. I would roughly ballpark that we are up to 400 pounds in total donated. Mary Lee, I'm sure will get us the updated count from the VOW between both events, even with the tough fishing last weekend. Now down to the fishing section. As you can see from the current standings here, from what I can see, more than 3/4 of the boats have already gone home with at least a prize, big or small, especially with the biggest fish of the day for all 5 species in our subcategories of vets, women, and kids. Eyeballing it would think there is an increase of all. Okay. He believes that is seeing an increase in all 3 of these categories that we were trying to attract more participants in. We also attracted a few new boats, which is fantastic to see. For those who won cash prizes last Saturday and any from the first event left over, we do have the checks here. I've got them, and you can grab them when you can. For Master Angler, so far, we've only got 1 boat that is currently eligible, which is manual labor. However, many other boats are not far behind, only missing 1 or 2 species to get a chance. Very likely more of those will be eligible after the 3rd leg to give them a run for their money. Haha. Now for the series standings, the top 3 would receive very nice trophies at the end of the season. So far it is a close race up there. However, don't forget these boats who intend to play all 4 legs, you only get to count your best 3 scores out of the 4. So there is some flexibility in there. Boats that didn't do well during one of the events will have a chance to throw one away and keep in it. Something to keep in mind for the 3rd event in August is last Saturday, no one weighed in a brown trout, meaning that the biggest brown trout for the 3rd leg would have the prize doubled. Not only that, there was 1 kid who weighed in a fish back then, meaning there will be an extra $100 scattered into the 3rd leg for the kids category. It's because our whole team was out. Therefore, more reasons to encourage kids to get involved. So good payouts. Bring your kids on the 3rd event for August because it's a good opportunity for them. Lastly, an important reminder, this wouldn't happen without all of our sponsors, which I don't think I have a slide in on this one for. I highly encourage that if any of you are using their gear to send pictures in with the fish caught on any of those products or any work done by non-fishing tackle businesses such as Gumino's Auto Repair, so we can keep promoting them and having them be recognized for their contribution. A reminder that non-fishing related sponsors will be utilized from now until August 22nd. Are eligible. A reminder, any non-fishing related sponsors being utilized from now until August 22nd are eligible for free raffles. And, for the pictures. Yeah, so again, you're turning in your pictures, it's eligible for a prize for the jackpot series. And fishing during the next 2 jackpot events, but I'm adding the 9 days of Salmonorama on as well. So during Salmonorama, if you use some of our sponsored gear, or one of the non-fishing sponsor businesses, send the pictures in, and that'll be eligible for a free gift card to Sandy's Protocol. Thank you so much. And then I'll turn that over to the big upcoming event. I got 2 of the promo sheets up here, just as a reminder. But Jim, if I could turn it over to you for Salmonorama.
Salmonorama, so tonight is the last general membership meeting before the event. The next meeting will be the setup at the site, and that will start around, well, really all day on that Wednesday, but I think most will be down around 4 or 5 o'clock. We will look at doing something where we get some pizzas down there or something for the volunteers that are coming from work. But again, we really need some help getting set up and to get things up and rolling. We do have a few weeks left. If there's somebody that you know that would still like to sponsor, please have them reach out to us. We are in about a week going to be having the shirts go into production. So We're trying to get all the sponsors lined up and accounted for to make the shirts before they go into production. We did just do a little contest. The shirts will be the salmon, light blue, and gray. Those will be the shirts. We will have minimum amounts on hand, but make sure you get down there because I don't know how long they're gonna last, but those were the 3 colors that were picked. The hats will be the blue, the gray and white, the gray and orange, and the red and black. Again, very limited amounts, so not saying we can't get more as the event goes on, but if there's a color you really want, to be able to order the larger amount of colors, we had smaller orders. So if there's something that you would like custom, like sweatshirts or something, get with me and I will get you to the website to be able to order directly from the company making the shirts. So that covers the shirts, that covers the setup, the sponsorship. Other than that, we really need people to come down and help out a day, whether it's helping with the raffles, things of that nature. We were just talking today, you know, our operating budget for our organization is over $40,000.
Guess where it comes from?
It all comes from this event.
Yep.
And without this event, just having the tournament, we will be about 1/3 of the operating budget. So overall, we really depend on the festival being successful. It isn't successful unless everybody comes down and gives us a hand to generate the revenue to be able to do things with the donations, the grants, the things that we do for the community. It's all based on efforts on our part. So find a ways to give a day or a shift or have a family member, friends, whatever. But we really are driven off of that donation of time. Other than that, again, the first Friday is the fireworks and bands. Saturday we'll start with the farmers market, go into the free fish boil, tell everybody free fish boil from 4 to 7.
Yeah.
And then that will go into the evening bands. Sunday is Veterans Outreach. All donations are gonna go and money that we raise that day will go to the Veterans Outreach. Again, make sure we spread the word, get people down there. The Veterans Outreach obviously is a very important part of Racine and giving back to our veterans and making sure that they are subsidizing some of their groceries throughout the month. So that will be Sunday. Monday, Tuesday are gonna be a little bit of a catch up. We will have the weigh-in and things like that taking place. Wednesday, I believe is John 23.
Yep. In the evening.
A church event. They will be having music down there. And then Thursday is the Paralyzed Veterans outing. And again, there'll be a band Thursday afternoon, late afternoon. And then Friday, we kick off again with Hair Bangers, which is a very well-known band. That'll probably be one of our crazy nights for attendance. And Saturday is again the farmers market with the Banks tournament. That's going to bring about 100 to 150 people down. So there's definitely things to do. Not to give you a full itinerary tonight, but just pointing out throughout the 10 days, there's pretty much stuff going on every single day. But we also want to point out that we are driving nonprofits with nonprofits this year and helping other nonprofits generate revenue that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to reserve these type of sites that we are reserving in the festival park, as long as they have a contract. I guess he's ignoring us already over there, but.
I heard it.
But other than that, that's where we're at. Please come down and help and donate some time.
Yeah. Going around the tables, as Jim was talking about that, one of the things we need help with is promoting the event. So we've got the tournament flyers and a couple of the daily event flyers for the festival side. If you would find high traffic points to get these hung up, gas stations, grocery stores, employers, just getting a few out. We've got more for the actual tournament up here with Lily, but
and I do have a few of the ATV tickets left. We're only doing 750 for the brand new 4-wheeler. They're $20 a piece. If anybody would like one, please come and see me.
Yep. Cool. Little laugh, but don't over tighten your depth radar probe. The threads don't.
Snapped off.
Yeah, threads don't work too well if you over tighten it. I started noticing it was taking on water, and I'm like, well, clearly the O-ring is not lubricated enough. So I put some grease on it and tightened it more. And then it noticed it was kind of not lined up the cap and the body, and when I went to unscrew it, it just snapped clean off. So thankfully, I'm gonna borrow one for this weekend, and I will leave it alone with the battery in it. And then
I don't know if the battery's good or not.
we'll find out. I got a backup battery in the boat, and then I got one from Kurt when he gets back from his fishing trip. All right, we have two guest speakers tonight. One reached out to me on his own, which is very brave, and this was before actually all the festival hall stuff started. But Matt, why don't you come up and introduce yourself to a certain degree too? But Matt recently took over as the director of City of Racine Parks after a long-standing role by Tom Mulbeck, right?
Right.
And Matt reached out to me, and tip your cap, he's the first person from the city to proactively reach out to us and say, hey, we'd like your input, or I'd like your input. And I thought that was fantastic. So I'd like to introduce you to Matt.
Is the spot over here?
Yeah, the camera's on that side. And like I said, I'll leave it to you, but I think you're open Q&A trying to get some info from us, right?
Yeah, so I am going to follow some notes here because I tend to go off on tangents, and I want to make sure I get some information out there before we start going over some of your questions. So I'll be referencing these to keep going. So yeah, thanks for having me tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to introduce myself. And I want to provide a little background about Parks and Rec. Parks and Recreation and Cultural Services is what the department is actually known as. And then we can talk about the boat launch a bit. So my background, I was born and raised in Racine. Before becoming the director, I was appointed in February. I worked as the city forester for Racine for 15 years. We actually are the ones who pull the logs out of the harbor after the sheriff brings them in. We do that on generally every Friday between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and then as needed as well as we get phone calls. I also work for the Nevada Division of Forestry, kind of a weird thing for a forester. I spent 6 years there before coming back to Racine to work for the city. I've had a lot of variety of jobs, kind of shaped how I think about public facilities, like parks, boat launch facilities, things like that. I've been around the boat launch facility for my entire career with the city of Racine, but this is my first time really directly involved with operations on it. So again, some background on the department. We have 93 parks, 1,200 acres that we manage. We've got 5 community centers, 2 cemeteries, 3 golf courses, ball diamonds, the beach, playgrounds, shelters. You guys probably seen the new playground at Lakeview Park, some of you, up at the zoo. Biggest effort there in a playground in many years. We've got the lakefront facilities, the boat launch facilities. We work with the lifeguard program, shoreline and restoration issues, many of which we still have to address from the big storm in January 2020, which really damaged the city shoreline from Wind Point all the way down to the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah. Pershing Park parking lot.
Pershing Park parking lot is on our to-do list.
Again.
There's only so much money to go around, so we've had to prioritize some things. One of the first areas that we fixed was up next to the zoo, along the zoo bike path, where part of the bike path was washed out. The bluff leading up to Augusta Street was halfway gone. There was a big severe damaged area, so that's where we put a lot of efforts in at that time. What else? Of course, we have our contracted facilities. The golf courses, we contract those out. We contract out the management of the zoo, Worcester Museum, and of course the Civic Center, which perhaps we'll have some questions on in a little bit. So I just wanted to share that information because the boat launch is really a part of a bigger system. The Parks Department operations side has 12 employees that work in the field full time. That manage all these areas, these lands, and work on putting the boat launch piers in and moving them around. Has had to happen a couple times this year. As mentioned, I did reach out to Josh. I guess I would call myself I want to put myself out there. I want to have a good relationship with organizations like Salmon Unlimited and any others that want to be involved in Racine's Parks Department, whether that's on the lakeshore or elsewhere. I know one of the main concerns tonight, or in the past that's been brought up, is the boat launch fee increase, and perhaps the lack of improvement to the facility. And I completely understand that. And in part, that's what prompted me to really reach out so that we can have that dialogue and kind of work together towards what the priorities are going to be So I want to acknowledge again that I'm the new director as of February. I was not in the position when the launch fees were increased. I don't have information as to how that process came about. I don't really want to speak inaccurately about it. So, you know, my goal is to move forward together. We can certainly, you know, complain about things that happened, but I don't want to say it's out of my control, but to some extent it is. And I don't really have that background information on it. So what I can do now, again, is listen to you, work to identify priorities and needs that we can implement over the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Look at realistic improvements. There are a few things that are already in motion. Just a week ago, I submitted a DNR grant application to replace boat launch piers. The 6 piers that are out there have been there for about 25 years. There is some degradation, especially on the other sides. We've got some, I don't know if I call them structural, but certainly fascia structural type issues that are happening. So we have a grant application in. We'll see what happens in a few months. We are looking at some goose control measures that we can maybe implement next year. That's been a huge pet peeve of mine for 15 years, going down there and having to deal with that. You know, I was an on-call supervisor for 15 years, and every Saturday and every Sunday we have someone go down there and wash them off. You know, when there are other things that we could be doing. I wish we could wash the whole parking lot off, because that's an issue as well. So we're looking at options. Our new forester happens to be a goose hunter, so he's got some ideas on, you know, how to manage. A lot of it comes down to the turf. There's grass everywhere, and if you watch them, that's where they are. They're feeding on the turf. Whether the little pockets that are adjacent to the boat launch itself, or across the street by the library. Yes, sir.
Most of it's people driving down,
Feeding them.
I agree with that as well.
It's nonstop.
Right. I have.
And it's actually against the law.
It is. We do have some signage up. It doesn't seem to help.
No.
You know, the seagulls don't help the situation either. So that's definitely part of this.
One thing I noticed, the county put those little kites on their piers out there that they're putting the brand new ones in,
Yeah.
and it keeps the birds off them piers now. They were just loaded with.
So on the wooden ones.
Well,
On the new
ones.
docks out on the east section,
Okay.
what they're basically like, they look like faux hawk kites.
Okay.
And they're on a piece of fiberglass pole that then has a little string off.
Okay.
And when they catch the wind, it looks like hawks flying.
Right.
And they put them across that whole area
Yeah.
where they were loaded with bird poop,
Sure.
and they're gone.
Overnight,
Okay.
the
They're
birds,
gone.
Yeah. We're looking. You know,
There's one other one, Kiwani. They actually make like a fake wolf or dog with a tail that moves,
Yep.
Yeah.
and it keeps them out of the parking lot up there in Kiwani.
I've seen those on Lake Mendota and Madison, on the piers. We actually bought a couple. We were getting ready to put them out this year, but then I read if you don't have like a multi-pronged approach to this,
Yeah.
it would be potentially ineffective and make it more difficult down the road when we do introduce
Yeah.
other things.
Ives Grove has them, and they'll like nest 5 feet away from them now.
Yeah. But there's also some spinny things I've seen.
Yeah.
So I think the idea is that we gather information now, try to come up with some plans this winter, and then next spring kind of have a multi-pronged approach to it, so that, you know, we can implement multiple things. I don't know if this is there's any merit to this or not, but perhaps, and I'm just spitballing here, different dock styles would affect geese and whether they want to go on it or not, whether that's like the mesh style or the aluminum. I noticed that the ADA compliant pier doesn't have as much goose excrement on it. So I'm not sure if there's anything to that, but it's something we want to talk to dock manufacturers about as we look into, you know, moving forward with some of the replacement. The Harbor Commission has expressed interest in a gate. It's something we want to explore. You know, that could keep out some of the people who are, well, number one, parking where they should not be parking.
Yes, thank you.
People who are in there in their vehicles throwing bread out their windows.
Yep.
We have already asked the police department to increase enforcement on single cars in the boat launch,
The trailer
parking
lot.
spaces.
Yeah.
That's been conveyed to them at least a month ago. So, that's happening. We need to stay on top of that. So, if it continues to be an issue, let us know. We don't have people down there every day looking. They're not able to get there every day. Sometimes it's reactive. So, we can get a reminder out to them though.
Saturday, I was down there to pick up the club trailer after our outing. And that lot was just packed with single cars.
Yeah.
Whatever was going on.
Yeah.
Which is
Festival.
really unfair to
Farmers
us when
market.
our charges were tripled.
No, this was 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a quinceañera down there with 1,000 some people.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're our fees are tripled, and yet they're freely parking down there.
Yeah. And we have signage, of course, but this is where a gate might come in handy. We'd have to figure out, is it some kind of a QR code that you scan if you have a launch pass? I don't really know yet. These are things that we need to learn. If you do see situations like that, I would encourage you to call the non-emergency number for the police.
Are we going to be responded to with everything they've got going on?
I don't know, but at least it would be on record. And so someone could look back and we could say, hey, can you look up all the phone calls you've gotten about this between, this date and this date? Because they do record everything. Whether they respond or not, I guess is going to depend on what's going on that particular day.
Another issue once happened there is they literally closed the whole launch down and had a city event type thing down there. And they actually locked everybody out for 2 days.
Do you know
I can't remember what the event was, but they told me another guy was trying to fix a trailer. They'd get the heck out because
That's what Trump was.
That was the Trump,
Okay.
Trump campaign, but that's beyond the city. That was Secret Service securing the whole area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, these are all things that we need to know about.
Yeah.
So before I leave, I'll give you an email address at least so that, there's a point of contact.
I've already shared with you, but so the rest of the group here is, I'd like to see the city work something out with the county where maybe that dock that is along the west side is transitioned in ownership. If the revenue generation for the launch, which is what that dock is highly used for,
Right.
is, it's really in the basin that's now, although the basin water is controlled by the county currently, the city is the only one that benefits financially from it. And those of us who pay for the launch, we're seeing this kind of infighting over whose responsibility it is.
Sure.
And, none of the stakeholders who are using it actually benefit with that happening.
We can certainly engage with the county and, city administration and see what that process might look like. The Harbor Commission is the organization that gets the boat launch fees. So we do have to work with them as well for
Good to know.
maintenance and, making requests, perhaps for grant match for the
Mhm.
piers that we're, potentially going to
So
install.
the launch or the fees go fully to the Harbor Commission, or the city pays a
I'm working
partition to
on
it.
figure that out.
Yeah.
those are 2 entities. So I
believe it's 50-50.
Yep.
But I'm not sure where the half of it goes for the city side. So those are things that we're trying to work through. We're just getting into our 2027 budget process right now. So I'm hoping to find some of these answers out as a part of that process.
Matt, doesn't the DNR website lay out where the money goes for the launches?
The DNR basically says, they set the caps for the boat launch fees. And then it basically says all boat launch fees that are collected need to go back into the facilities. So, that where they go again. So I don't have any good answers right now. I need to, figure that out. But
I think a huge, like you've heard, is managing that parking lot and proper usage. If people are parking down there to use smoke down the water or something, or bleed over for festival, they better be paying the same rate we are.
Right.
If they're just freely parking in those spots.
Yeah, I agree. So let's see. I think I've covered most of my things here. I'm not going to make promises tonight. I promise to listen and to engage and to make plans to move forward, because really that's my job. It's to work with the public and listen to what you want to see and then see how we can move forward.
You're also responsible then for the fish cleaning station.
Yes, the fish
By
cleaning
extension,
station, the smoke on the water concession facility,
Yeah.
the bathrooms that are by the fountain, which are a bit nicer than the ones that are in the concession.
Yeah.
Those are open there as well. In fact, the concessionaire for Smoked on the Water is responsible for opening, closing, and cleaning those.
Mhm.
So, yes, sir.
2 issues I see a lot is marina usage. They drive in, they launch the big boats, and they don't buy any tickets to launch.
Okay.
It's one of the things I see quite often. I don't know if they have private ways of paying that. 'Cause
So
even-
they may have a slip or something in the marina then?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And I don't know if, because some of them are like special trailers and boats that come in. I don't know if they buy a certain pass to keep launching boats, but I see that a lot. And then a lot of powering on their boats. And there
Oh,
might be
yeah.
people in here that might
Powering
not
on the
like
trailer.
me for saying it, but that's what tears that facility, the cement up, is powering on. And there's a lot of it.
Okay. Good to know. I think I've kind of covered the things I want to cover. I'm definitely open to continuing conversations, answering questions today. As far as, how to continue to get this information to me.
They can send it through me and I can forward it to you.
You can send it to Josh, you can send it to me. Yeah, I'm also thinking about potentially providing you with like a QR code or a link to like a Survey Monkey where everybody can just go, enter information. I do think the most streamlined right now would be to go to Josh and then he can consolidate and send it to me. I can come back, we can talk about some of these things at another meeting, or we can communicate, however.
We had an online question. I'm unfamiliar with it, but is there anything we can do to keep the porta potty a little cleaner? Was there a porta potty out there?
There is a porta potty out by the ADA accessible.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I think it gets. I don't know if it's there year round or if it's put there early
Off season, yeah.
before the water's
Put there
turned on.
almost all season.
Okay. Which makes sense if smoke down the water locks up the other ones that's still
right.
available.
It is part of a contract, so we can
Yeah.
certainly look at that contract along with other porta potties and other park systems.
Yeah.
See what it says. Ensure that they're actually following that contract. The company that has it.
Sure.
I'm not sure what the frequency is on that, but it's something we can look into for sure.
Yeah.
I know the parking lot just got resealed and restriped, so
It
that
looks
was
nice.
in the plan since last year.
Pressure washer is always a nice attribute that
Is that
a lot of
does anybody
places.
know is that up and functioning right now?
I haven't tried this year, but is anybody?
I believe it is waiting for a pump to be
Is it
delivered.
okay? It over the years, it's been a nice perk that not a lot of boat launches have.
Yeah, we just have to get it open.
Yeah.
The last time I was there was to check on the county progress on their pier repairs, and I saw that it was still boarded up. So I did make I think I sent an email and I made a phone call, and I heard they were waiting for a pump. So I can check in on that.
That's really a good item because a lot of those walleye boats and like all around boats, they go into other lakes that they can contaminate from here, and they're really supposed to be spraying their boats down.
Right.
And their trailers.
Yep, we just got to get it open.
I mean, I got a Great Lakes boat here, but it doesn't go anywhere else. So, but there's a lot of them that are walleye boats in the spring, and they're going all over the place.
Right. I'll just note that we do have a active contract with Smoked on the Water. It's a 1-year contract plus 3 1-year optional extensions. So that's how we've been shifting things around for more flexibility, both to benefit Caleb, the proprietor, as well as the city. Not to lock him into a multi-year thing. It was actually something he was interested in as well. So that's underway. He's open. We did some improvements inside. Doesn't really affect anybody here, but we put in new countertops. We did some painting. We put in a epoxy floor. New back door. Some upgrades. Probably not enough. It probably needs an upgrade from the ground up, but
Pressure washer is up and running. One of our members said he saw a guy washing his boat and his truck yesterday.
Okay, and I think it says boats only, maybe. I'm not positive, but
somebody else commented earlier as we were talking that there's a camera there. Whoever watches it does zero enforcement. I asked as to what they were supposed to be watching. They didn't specify, so I don't know if he's talking about the porta potty, the pressure washer, or what.
There's one on that light post. I'm just curious what.
Our IT department has numerous cameras around North Beach on some of the areas where there have been drownings or near drownings. It's largely a detection system so that if someone does go underwater, the fire department can review the footage and they know where to dive. That may have been installed for that purpose there, as there was a death, I think, last year. In line with that, we recently added a life ring in a cabinet and then a no swimming sign out in that area. This would be the projection to the right of towards the exit of the the harbor into the lake.
Yeah.
You know, in the area where that happened. So, you know, trying to improve some safety situations out there.
Lily and I attended the first swim meeting that came of that, and I haven't really heard anything more if there's been any progress on that.
I think they've been kind of quiet. I can speak to the beach has some, you know, a lot of things going on. They've got a record 28 lifeguards hired this year. That program is really beefed up over the last several years. They've got technology down there. They have resources to access the water. They're, you know, continuing looking. We're actually, I don't want to speak too much detail here because I have none. But there's some new technology that's going to be tested at North Beach. I think possibly first in the nation as far as, you know, reporting of water wave action and danger situations. So those are some new conversations happening right now.
We made a comment because all the parents and people are there were concerned. We're talking about you need to do this, you need to do that, to the city parks, to the fire department, to the county. And we're like, how many of the drownings were in swimming designated areas? And how many are non-designated? And the responder said 99% of them are in places they shouldn't be. Like the coffin corner right in the launch.
North Pier is
North Pier, yeah.
Worst spot, yeah.
So, if, you know, again, it's like you guys are putting a lot of the right features in the right place. People just need to go to the right place.
Right.
So. Okay, yeah, he clarified the one on the light post, the camera, that nobody's watching it, but.
So that could be part of that system.
Yeah.
For recovery or for, you know, dive purposes.
Right, more of a passive system.
I don't believe I have any access to that.
There was one at the pirate fish pool station.
Could be. I guess I have a lot to learn here. That's something I can look into as well. The fish cleaning station, you know, that is kind of managed by our buildings department because it is, you know, a facility although it's under the umbrella of Parks and Rec.
I think overall they've done a pretty good job on that, unless one of our knuckleheads shoves too much down. It usually stays running.
Yeah, I remember hearing, you know, over the last decade, occasionally having to replace the
grinder,
commercial grade grinder, which I think has been a twin disc one. Sorry, not twin disc, but a
Syncerator.
Yeah. But I haven't heard anything lately about that.
It's been good.
It's been good.
It's good.
Yeah. That's like we watched Waukegan and Winthrop Harbor go down left and right, and ours and the county one. You know, they've been pretty reliable.
Well, with Syncerator right here, you'd think we'd be top notch. So
yeah, pride in it.
They donated that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They donated.
I think they've been a good partner in the past. Yeah.
Any additional questions for Matt?
Yeah, what about the parking? If the launch area is full of trailers, we're gonna have salmon around and come in. They go into the one directly to the south. They have to pay extra trailers.
So other than the boat launch parking lot, all other parking lots are part of a contract with DPW, a company called ABM. And they're responsible for like the meter fees and the collections and maintenance. I think maintenance, I'm not sure about that. So Parks does not have any ability to say you can use another parking lot. It's not under our authority. It's part of a legal contract for this other company. So I don't have a good answer for you, to be honest. I know Pershing Drive used to be a spot back in the day where, you know, there was some overflow parking there. I really don't have a good answer. Besides paying an additional fee, you could go down, I suppose, south of the, what is that, soccer field, the football field. There's a small parking area there. You know, mid Pershing Park. I don't want to direct anyone where they shouldn't go, but the Gateway parking lot is quite a bit farther. It's actually on city property. There's sort of a cooperative agreement with the Gateway parking lot.
It'd be nice if the Pershing rock wall was able to be cleaned up again.
Yeah, you know what the goal with that is not necessarily to put it back exactly as it was, because that could be a better utilized area.
Yeah.
You know, again, I don't know what that's going to look like yet. We'd have to be engaging with some design firms, but you know, more than just a mile-long flat gravel area. While I recognize some of the parking is important, you know, it could also be aesthetically improved and provide some more, you know, services, or, you know, offer the city residents more. So that'll happen eventually.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I want to acknowledge that's a different shirt that I'm wearing right now. So, looks quite similar. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you for coming. Suck it out. All right, thank you for coming.
We've got some pleasure to leave. We're gonna actually leave. I just want to say thank you again. I really appreciate you guys. And,
Absolutely.
I'll be seeing you down there.
Yes.
But 2 days in particular, make sure Sunday, the first Sunday, the VOW fundraiser, and then the Thursday will be our Paralyzed Vets out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right. With that, this year Lily and I had the opportunity again, along with Oscar, to join Captain Morgan, Captain Maxwell Morgan. If you want to come on up. This is the lifeblood behind the success of deployment and retrieval of our baby. I mean, Bowie. So I will turn the pointer over to you. But Captain Morgan's got some great updates for us.
Thanks for having me here. It's my pleasure to talk to you guys and to work with you guys. It's really great. I'm a salmon fisherman myself, and I think this is awesome, all the stuff that you guys do. So, again, thanks for that. I have a lot of information to cover. I'm going to try and go through it here as best I can. Hope you guys enjoy what I have to say. This is a great picture. I almost used it myself, but you can see the deck is all kind of crazy. I love this picture because Craig is super enthused right now. Might need to go take a nap or something.
Well, it was either that one or there was another one of the crew working on it, and unfortunately Jesse was kind of mooning the camera, and I'm like, we'll go with this one.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about that I think you guys might find interesting is kind of what the Niske does, except for these buoys, as well as some of the dynamics of what goes on in Lake Michigan pertaining to salmon, as well as some of the future projects regarding Great Lakes science. So I'm a bit of a boat nerd myself, so I just want to give a little talk, a brief history about the Niske, because it has a lot of history. It was built in 1953 in Louisiana. It used to be the North Star, owned by Mackinac College, and the UWM bought it in 1969 for $9,200 or $9,200. Super cheap, I guess. But we've had it ever since then, and this is an old picture of it. It's got a lot of different upgrades since then. There's its sister ship, just some old pictures here from Milwaukee. And these things were made for the Korean War. They were resupply ships. So you can see there's a bunch of them all copy cuttered down there. Our boat is T94. Here's T90, 495, 497. I believe the Niske is probably right over here. So it's kind of a cool picture. It's got a ton of history. So what is the mission? What is the mission at UWF? What do we do? Well, we do a lot of research. We like to do outreach and education. That's a huge one. And we're also just to support the Great Lakes as a vessel of opportunity. So if you have anything that you want to do on the lake, we could do that. We get a lot of private companies that want to do research, things like that. Any other government agency from different states, universities, whatever. We're happy to help if that falls in line with research. So we, this is weird. Huh. Anyway, just to give you an idea, some of these slides aren't working.
Copied them over from. I didn't have a chance to pan through them after I copied them.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Pick
But
your
anyway,
choice.
so just to give you an idea about our outreach. So we've had 682 people on board the Niske since 2019. Every year we do about close to 200 people per year for outreach. So that's students from Milwaukee Public Schools or other universities like that. Last year we had 218 people on for outreach. So that's pretty cool. And this is our season. Usually we operate from March to October throughout the whole season, and summer is the busiest time. So I guess some of the slides that you missed there was most of our trips are research trips. We do a lot of research and then a little bit of outreach and then a little bit of education. And our busiest month, I believe, is September. We do operate year round. So you saw some ice pictures there. We go out every month of the year. So we're never sitting at the dock for too long.
Hang on one sec. I am going to try. I've got the original download of your slides. Let's see if they populate better.
Well, that one did. This one did.
No, yeah, some of them are okay. So it's looking like it's. We'll keep running with your slides right now. The copy that I downloaded direct from you.
Right on. Hey, you never know what's gonna happen on a ship. Apparently, you never know what's gonna happen in the presentation room here. So some of the stuff that the Niske does, we did a huge project with the Wisconsin TNR on PFAS. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about PFAS before. So these are all the sites that we went to, all the way down to the south here and all the way up the coastline. We did 22 sites over 5 days. So that was great. The DNR is continuing this study to keep going on and going on. So that's a good source to find. This is a new forever chemical that people are looking at. Some of the other things we look at is the quagga mussels and the zebra mussels. One of our professors noticed he had been doing some sites where they had some tarp downs and all the mussels kind of died and then they didn't come back. So they were wondering, why is this happening? So we're just trying to research the mussels and try and figure out ways to deal with them. So what we did was we came up with this thing called the mussel masher. So we have a site you'll see in the next slide where we went out and we kind of mowed the lawn and got rid of as many mussels as we possibly could, just by crushing them and breaking them up. And they have these camera tripods down there with stop motion cameras, and they're looking to see what happens. The theory is that the gobies can eat them when they're small, when they're repopulating the area. Once they get to an adulthood, the shells become too big and they can't feed on them. But this could be a way to control quagga mussel population. So this is a shot of that in action, dragging along the bottom here. So it worked really well. We had an underwater ROV watching this as it happened, and this was me doing donuts out here. There's a 50 by 50 meter square that we tried to hit. We had about 89% coverage, so that was pretty good. But I did have to take some big swooping turns to get out there. That's about 45 minutes, about southeast out of Milwaukee. So that stuff is out there. They have it marked with buoys.
How deep the water was that?
We deal in meters, so
Okay.
that's about 45, 50 meters.
That picture was that, yeah, was down that deep?
Yes.
Wow.
Give you the clarity of the water.
And how much light there is.
You could thank the mussels for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the benefit of the mussels, right? They keep it clean.
Sort of.
Uh,
Some of the other stuff that we do is we survey shipwrecks that are around here for education and historical purposes. So we just got a really new fancy depth sounder on the Niske. It's a multi-beam depth sounder. It also updates the bathymetry as we go along. So it reads the bottom and it puts that directly onto my chart. This is the Prince Willem, right off of Milwaukee too. You're probably familiar with that wreck. So it's a very powerful tool because it tells me how far away I am from it, because I have to get really close on anchor to get the ROV on top of it. You can really see the outline of the ship there. So that's really neat. This is one of our ROVs. This is our bigger one. We have suction tube on it to collect larval fish and other fish with shocking right here. So we can electroshock the fish when we get down there and see it, and we can suck it up with this tube. That's very important. We do a lot of work with that. This is our smaller ROV that we use mostly for educational purposes, because you can get it down there really quickly and it's very maneuverable, and not a whole lot of moving pieces and parts that could break on there. But very good for observation. So you can see here's some shots on the Willem. You can see that suction tube here. Get that set up in the wet lab. So we do multiple shipwrecks, not just over around here. We've done them all up and down the coast. We work very closely with the Wisconsin Shipwreck Society. We have the Shipwreck Sanctuary here off our coast. Another big project that we do in the winter is the USGS, it's United States Geological Survey, are looking to find out more information about the bloater. Are you guys all familiar with that fish? Anyone heard about that fish at all? You guys are all fishermen, you don't know what a bloater is? Man, well, bloater is a very important native species. It's kind of like an alewife, but it's a native species. So it falls into that same category as like a herring. You could say it's a Cisco, actually. You may have seen it in the smoked fish shops, chub.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what that is. They used to be very abundant, and now they are not. And they're trying to figure out why. They're actually going to Lake Michigan because Lake Michigan has just a very small population that's holding on. Where our mission is, we're going out there to try to collect eggs right after they spawn to repopulate them. So we take them back out of the environment into a hatchery and raise them till they get a little bit bigger, so they can kind of get past that predatory stage where gobies and all that stuff are eating all their eggs. And then we can try to repopulate the fish. This used to be a huge commercial fishery in Lake Michigan. I've talked to many of the commercial fishermen because we're trying to find out where these fish are. And they used to catch per fisherman like 200,000, 300,000 pounds per season, per winter. Now they don't even do it anymore because it's not commercially viable anymore. The only place they do this anymore is Lake Superior. So kind of a big deal. This is kind of crazy because we go out in the middle of winter. February is the best time. We have this structure called the Mid-Lake Reef. You guys heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you got the Northeast Reef. There's one directly out of Milwaukee, and this is the Southern Flats. Those are the areas we're going. You can see how we're mapping the bottom as we go along. We've mapped all these structures, and we're looking for the fish. They have a really high-powered ROV down there. We're trying to find them. A bloater has never been filmed in the wild, so that's one thing that we're trying to do. And we're trying to suck up those eggs. Well, we've mapped about 72 nautical miles of the Mid-Lake Reef system already with our multi-beam sonar, and we're able to collect some eggs. But we didn't get the egg as it was just floating naturally. We actually had to collect gobies. We did gut content, and they had eggs in their gut. So they are predating on the eggs. Gobies are terrible. It's the reason we don't have perch. It's the reason the bloater are gone. It's probably the reason a lot of things are gone is because they're just sitting down there. They hide in the rocks. They're very hard to eat for other fish because when they come around, they just scatter and go under all these crevices. The fish in the Great Lakes aren't evolved to handle that. And they're just down there feeding on other fish's eggs, like perch and everything. They spawn, their eggs fall down. They're not really protected. And the gobies get in there and just gobble them up. So that's unfortunate. That's our bloater project. That's an ongoing project too. I think we're on our third year, and we just got funding for 5 more years. But we go out in February, so it gets a little crazy out there. We're about 30 nautical miles offshore. You can see we had a lot of freezing spray this day. It's not windy. That flag is frozen, so kind of nuts. But it's really cool to go out in the middle of the winter. I find it to be pretty adventurous. But anyway. This year we're going farther than we've gone ever in my history, and it's certainly probably for the last 40 years for the Niske. We have some research looking at mercury in the water column all the way over in Georgian Bay. So that's going to be a big trip for us coming up in August. It's going to take 2 days of 24/7 operations just to get there. So that'll be quite the adventure. And then of course we have the buoys. I thought you might like this picture because this is the Green Bay buoy, and then here's the Salmon Unlimited buoy. You can see the difference with this pedestal at the bottom here. Doesn't mean anything different as far as the operation of the buoy. It's just a different style. And what it means for us is this one can stand up, that one cannot. So it makes it a little different. This one uses train wheels. These you guys use the concrete anchors, and this is probably the most involved and dangerous operation that we do. We have a lot of gear on deck. It's all very heavy. It's under a lot of tension. The weather has to be almost absolutely perfect. And there's just a lot of gear. I mean, you guys, for the Salmon Unlimited buoy, because of its depth, it's the deepest buoy that we deal with. And I think one of the deepest gloss buoys that's out there. You have about 335 feet of chain, and then you got another about this 260 feet of wire. And that's just on one side. So you have a long set of gear.
And you got backspooled this year.
That's right. Yeah, you had to bring that up.
You fixed it.
It just a lot of things can go wrong because we have this gear spread all around the whole deck, and it's a very stressful situation. But we've been very successful with that, and we've learned a lot along the way. Just so you guys are aware, this is what it looks like when it's in the water. So you have a weight, a spar buoy. This is the whole purpose of this is so we can get this weight back. By the way, and you have chain or wire. And the reason we have to do this 2-point buoy mooring style is because we have the temperature string in the middle, right? So we can't connect to that. I do appreciate all the free gear that we've gotten over the last couple of years. Keep that coming, but maybe try to stay away.
Kyle was here before the start of the meeting. The guy who was looking for the flasher.
Try to stay away from these things here. This is probably the biggest culprit. Don't drive between the two because you have this thing hanging down. All right. So here's the Green Bay buoy. We treat a little differently. You see, these are the train wheels. It's much more shallow, and it's much easier to launch. So you guys are definitely the most complicated, but just wanted to give you the differences there. These concrete anchors also make great grill stands, by the way. They look great. They look just the same as they did when we bought them.
Yeah, they were.
They look absolutely perfect.
I'm the one that made them. I used to drive ready mix.
Sweet. Well, they look awesome. And if anything ever does happen to them, we got a bunch of those train wheels laying around over at the university, so that's an option as well. But you did a wonderful job. They look awesome. They make great grill stands too. Okay, so next thing I want to talk to you about, that's a little bit about the Niske, and I'm just trying to go through fast because I want to make sure you guys hear everything. But I'm always happy to answer any of your questions or talk about any of these things more. Get through Josh, you can get to me. But this is a really cool new thing that's going to be happening on Lake Michigan that I think you guys are all going to like. And it's part of this network called GLaDOS. So we have GLOS, that's the Great Lake Observing System, right? That's what does the buoys. This is GLaDOS. This is the Great Lakes Acoustic Telemetry Observing System, all right? What acoustic telemetry means is basically it's a remote sensor that's collecting data that you can go back and look at, all right? So this is a multinational network of researchers, state, federal, private organizations. There's 430 members. So it's a very big organization, this GLaDOS thing. And what they do is they try to unravel the mysteries of the Great Lakes fisheries. To do that, they facilitate and conduct acoustic telemetry research to support a fishery science and management in the Great Lakes Basin. Okay? So what we're talking about is an acoustic receiver. This is what goes in the water. It sits on the bottom. It's about this high off the bottom floor there. That thing in the middle is the receiver. So you're a fish. We either hatch you with a tag in it or we put one in you, and anywhere you go to swim, one of these receivers is going to find that signal and it's going to record where you were, when you were there, how deep you were in the water, all kinds of stuff about that fish. This started way back in 2015. Okay, so this is the GLaDOS receiver network in 2015. You can see Lake Erie was pretty covered, Lake Ontario. This is kind of where this all started. But now you have all of Lake Huron, all of Lake Erie, all of Lake Ontario, the northern half of Lake Michigan, and some of Lake Superior. So they've expanded this network quite a bit. And there's 3,530 active receiver stations, 30,743 fish have been tagged, 58 species, including turtles and mud puppies. There have been 94 million, close to 95 million detections matched up to these fish. So a fish goes, we hatch it, we put it in the water, we know it's going to come back in the fall, depending on the fish species or whatever, but we don't know what happens in between that. So they've used this to track walleye. You know when a walleye is crossing the street in Lake Erie, okay?
It's real neat. That one's real neat to watch.
Yes, and you guys may have seen that. You can see it on, they have animations online where you can watch walleye go all over the place. They travel very, very far distances. Same with the lake trout. They have all these ideas about what lake trout do in Lake Ontario, and these trackers have completely blown those theories out of the water. Lake trout travel all over the place. So this, again, this is just kind of a great mystery. We don't know what these fish are out there doing. We have an idea, we have a thought where all the salmon go in the wintertime, maybe over to the middle of the southern basin, but we are not exactly sure of that, right? So what they want to do moving forward, they have all these receivers jammed up here in Grand Traverse Bay and the Green Bay area. That was to study the whitefish as well as lake herring. All right, that study has completed. What they want to do is do Lake Michigan next. So this is going to be in 2027. The goal is to have it be covered with these buoys on the bottom. Okay, so what happens is you have this concrete buoy that we looked at, right? And it has all this stuff. This is an older picture. Now they have an acoustic release here. So let's say I'm on the Niske. I go out, I dump this over the side. It sits out there all year. All I have to do to retrieve this is go back. We put a receiver in the water. It sends out a encrypted message just for that receiver. pops up to the surface. The concrete anchor does stay on the bottom, but not a huge thing. It's only about this big. Then that comes up to the surface. We download all the data. We replace the battery. We put it back in for another season. And that's just going to keep going. Okay. So this is really what they want to strive for. This is beginning in 2027. Here's a picture of the receivers. There's many different kinds. The more bigger you get, the more data it collects. And then you can see in this map here, this highlighted in yellow would be the area that the Niske would cover. So we would service all of those buoys.
Who services south?
So there's these other colors, or the other colors that have been spoken for. There's the Illinois DNR and the Indiana DNR, and I think maybe a university down there.
So the orange ones, maybe U of I or Illinois DNR, you're saying might be our area?
Yes. Yep. And we just split that up between agencies. They're still trying to work all this out right now because it's just a collaborative effort between U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the Wisconsin DNR, the Niske. I mean, any boat that's out there that can handle this type of research. Funding is a big part of this. Okay? We got to get the funding. Everybody wants to do this. They have all the receivers. I showed you in this picture. So all these receivers are already there. They're all just here, right? So now we need to get them spread out here. So we need the funding to operate the vessels that are going to do that. So that's what we're working on now. Is trying to get grants for that. But it should be pretty sweet. That's going to start in 2027. So in 2028, hopefully, we'll have a lot of more data. We can start putting these into salmon, whatever fish we want to track, and we'll have a lot more answers to what happens.
Have you had any reports of any of those being accidentally hooked and brought up?
No.
I know some of our guys will regularly bounce down riggers or dipsy divers off the bottom with like a flash or a dodger behind it.
Right. Well, you'd have to be pretty unlucky.
That's kind of that's a concern. We already deal with commercial nets that we don't know about, and it's like, oh crap.
Yep. So again, they're pretty low profile.
Yeah.
And as far as anything you put out there, this is about as minimal as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
In Lake Erie, I've helped develop this in Lake Erie. We had gill netters get caught up on them sometimes. But no, it hasn't been a big issue. And there's not a whole lot that you could probably catch on there. I suppose if your hook put on it or you got wrapped up in it. If you bring it up, whatever. It's really hard to damage this thing. Just turn it in. Not a big deal. I feel like if anything, it might just slip off of it, or
that'd be great. Hope, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the big one. GLaDOS. You can look it up online. They probably have information. They have a whole website on all this stuff. You can see all the information from the other lakes. But I'm super excited about this. This is probably one of the coolest research projects I've seen come across my desk since I started. Okay, so I wanted to get into the buoy a little bit because I know you guys all use it, but I wanted to make sure you knew all the different things that you can do with it. Did you know that you can call this number and text this, and it will send it to the information to your phone? Okay, so there's Seagull. Everybody knows about Seagull, right? Sometimes that can be clunky to get to. You got to go to the website. You're on your little phone. Blah blah blah. A lot of the times, it doesn't give you temperature down to depth. It'll give you the surface temperature, but a lot of times I just want to know what the waves are quick. So if you text it this number and you send it, this is the identifier for your buoy, it will shoot back to you this. Okay, that's a quick way to see what the wind and the waves and all that kind of stuff is. You don't get the full picture here, but you do get that. And that's kind of on speed dial on my phone. I just boop, and then it comes right back to me.
We're showing out of service or retreat for the season at the moment.
That's from this morning.
That's from right now.
So I don't know what's up with that, but
yeah.
Just a little second ago, it came up.
Did it?
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Pull it again.
Yeah. Did it work for you guys?
Yeah, it's coming up right now. Yep, I got it.
Yeah, both.
Well, I don't know, but it seems to be working. I use it for the Atwater buoy. But a lot of times I check Atwater and Racine because you guys are a little more offshore, so it gives me a better idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's just a quick way. If you don't want to go to Seagull, you can get the information. Okay. Now in Seagull, do you guys use this website?
Yep.
Did you know anything about this dive deeper button here? Okay, so you should mess around with that. There's a ton of stuff on here that you can mess around with. I go on here a lot and I click waves because I want to know how choppy it is up, and I click water temperature because I want to know where the thermocline's at. That's mostly what I use this for. But if you take a deeper dive, if you click this button, it's going to take you to this page. Now I already have this populated, but you guys can mess with it. You can pick any parameter. I just picked water temperature, but you could pick current, let's say, and you could pick a date range, and you can see that over the course of whatever date range you pick. You follow me? So I picked June of 25 to September of 25, and I did 3 feet all the way down to 100 feet of water temperature, and you can see how the thermocline moves throughout the year. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a couple times last year where even down at 100 feet, it was getting about 60 degrees. So, and you could see some places, even, what do I have on here? 60 feet down, which is kind of where the thermocline usually 60, 70 feet is, I would say, what the average should be, was even getting up to surface temperature levels. Yeah. So pretty wild. Last year, I would look at Seagull before I even went out and saw the thermocline was down 120 feet, and I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not going fishing today. So this is just something cool that I thought I'd show you guys because a lot of people don't look at this. You could do it for current. You can find out what the prevailing current is over here if you wanted to. You can look at this for temperature. I find it to be pretty interesting to see that throughout the first half of the season, everything's pretty steady. Then once you get towards the end of the season, things get a little wonky, and the thermocline can kind of be anywhere, depending on which way the wind was.
Yeah.
Last year we had a lot of east wind during this time period. Yeah. That's what kind of screwed us up. So I just wanted to show you that, and you can explore that, get into it a little bit more, and use this resource to its full potential. When we're talking about the thermocline, I want to give you guys maybe, hopefully, a little bit better understanding of what we're talking about and how that all happens. So this is called the CTD. That stands for Connectivity Temperature Depth. This is the one that we use. And this is how research vessels go out and they get a picture of the water column. So this is looking at the water. Let's say if I was like Moses and I split the water in half and we're looking at it from top to bottom from the side view. That's what we're looking at. This is a station that's kind of right off of Milwaukee. This particular station is about 531 feet deep. So here's the top, here's the bottom. The blue line is oxygen, the red line is temperature, the green line is plankton, and the yellow line is turbidity, or like how clear the water is, okay? So you can see that the red line is temperature. Usually the surface temperature is between 65 and 75 degrees. Once you get down to about that 60, 70 feet range, in this case it was 20 meters, okay? Then you hit the thermocline. You can see that drop in temperature. Now you're in an area called the hypolimnia, all right? So when we go out salmon fishing, we're kind of targeting that area. Warmer water doesn't hold as much oxygen. Colder water holds more oxygen. So you can see that this colder water here has a higher oxygen than the warmer water. This peak right here is because of plankton. Okay, plankton are a plant, they produce oxygen. So this is how much oxygen is in the water here to here, and then you can see how much the plankton have added to that. Okay, turbidity, you can see that it follows this peak in plankton. Now I wanted to show you this because I think it's kind of interesting. Plankton, you can see the peak there right below the thermocline. They call that the deep chlorophyll layer. That happens everywhere you get water stratified. There's always a layer of plankton right below the thermocline. That happens for a couple reasons. I call this the Goldilocks zone because there's still plenty of light, but it's not too hot, it's not too cold. And then if you ever put olive oil and water, you see how they rest on top of each other? Well, that warm water is less dense than that cold water. So it kind of creates a barrier. Plankton can't swim, really, so they get caught right there. Now, the fish like a certain temperature, what would you say salmon like?
55.
55?
Yeah.
I would have said a little colder, but that's just me. Somewhere between 48 and 55, I would say. But salmon also like to eat, right? And they like to eat alewife. Alewife like to feed on plankton, right? Smaller things like that, or things that eat plankton in that area. So are we fishing the thermocline or are we fishing the deep chlorophyll layer? That's the question I have. Or are we fishing a little bit of both? Right? So when you guys go look at seagull and you try to find that thermocline, be aware that that deep chlorophyll layer is usually within about 20 or 30 feet of that. So the fish probably hang out in both of those areas. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'd like to maybe get some more research on that. But I think it's probably a combination of both of those things.
When we see on the fish finder, sometimes you'll actually see what we've believed to be the thermocline, but would that maybe not be the thermocline then, and more the chlorophyll and other matter?
Yes.
So the thermocline might be a few feet higher than where we're actually seeing that haze on the screen.
Exactly. So you turn the gain up.
Yes.
And you can see that. You're seeing that particles in the water, which would be the plankton, and debris and things like that. And when mysis, you guys know what mysis are? Shrimp that live in the lake. When they come up at night to feed, that's where they're going. All right. So just an interesting fact that we try to. This is the kind of stuff that we're looking at. So this is the Great Lakes Michigan Food Web, and I can explain just a little bit of what has happened recently. And you guys probably already know the whole story, but we have invasive species. Specifically, the goby is pretty bad, and the invasive mussels. You can think of this as a house of cards. Okay. You take one or two of these out, you're really making this a shaky thing. Everything depends on something else. You got to think about the Lake Michigan has been around for millions of years, okay? And everything that lives inside of that food web has evolved over all those years to depend on each other, and that's how it lives. So when you go to add in a quagga mussel or anything like that, that's going to shift all this, like brown gobies, that's going to shift all this stuff and jumble it up and make it weird. So that's where we're at now. All right. Mussels, these things were introduced in ballast water. Does everybody know what that is all about? Shipping, right? So they can filter out 1 liter of water per day. And what they're filtering is plankton. Okay. So that's why the water is so much clearer. We do this thing on the ships called a Secchi depth or a Secchi disc. Basically, it looks like a dinner plate. You lower it down the side of the boat so you can't see it anymore. Back before quagga mussels, you could see down in Lake Michigan, and I'm sure you probably, some of the older folks here know that you can only see probably down about 20 or 30 feet. Now in some areas you can see down 60, 70 feet. I mean, it's very, very much clearer. So cleaner is a word, but I would say you're looking into a desert, right? Because all that plankton is gone. So that's not cool, right? And these mussels are basically covering the bottom from shore out to about 400, 500, even 600 feet. Quagga can live much deeper, and that's what they're doing. They're filtering out plankton. They're taking all the nutrients that used to be suspended in the water column, and they're sucking it down to the bottom and using it themselves. All right? So there's no real way back from that, and you can see what we've kind of lost is some of the things that the fish eat. All right? Have you guys heard of diarrhea? So that's what that is down there. It looks like a little scud. And you can see back before the mussels, they were just everywhere. And this kind of coincides with when the mussels showed up, they started to disappear. And now they're gone. Okay? So going back to this food web, we've gotten rid of diarrhea as a food option. Okay? Well, they moved to the next thing, which is mysis. You've probably seen coho with bellies full of mysis, right? So we've lost some of this food in here, and now they're relying heavily on the mysis shrimp to fill the gap, especially alewife. All right? And this has become one of the most important things that we have in the Great Lakes, propping up that food web. Okay? I would say probably the most important. And here's the numbers that we have. This is off of Muskegon. These things live offshore. Now, there's 2 different types. Eric Hadia got in a big fight with me one time about this. There's an invasive mysis shrimp that lives in the harbors. they actually have that little red pigment on it. So, you know, he was saying that, oh, the mysis are doing great, they're everywhere, blah, blah. Well, they're the invasive ones. They only live in the harbors near shore, okay? Those are doing just fine. We're talking about the native mysis shrimp that live in 50 meters or more depth. Okay, those are the offshore shrimp. Those are the ones that are feeding all these other offshore species that we fish for. Okay, you can see the numbers have also kind of gone down. And when you compare them to the other lakes, Huron is typically, or is terrible, really, very bad. You all know about the fish crash that happened there. Michigan's kind of hanging on. Ontario and Superior are great. Superior doesn't have mussels. Ontario is fed by Lake Erie, which has a ton of nutrients, which keeps that lake really good, even with mussels, okay? Because they just have so much nutrients there, the mussels can't keep up.
The water's green there, yeah.
Right, because Lake Erie is just dumping all that nutrients in there. Lake Huron had the crash and is doing poorly because if you think about the hydrology, all the stuff from Lake Superior is kind of just flushing through there. Lake Michigan's got lucky because we're kind of like in a little appendix off to the side where, yes, water does flow out, but it's kind of traps in there, and we have a little bit more productivity than Lake Huron does. Okay, so we're hanging on by a thread. This is some of the recent numbers from the Great Lakes Fishing Commission. I went out to that conference this spring, and I could share all these. I have a ton more information I can give to Josh if you guys are interested in it. But you can see the average weight of a 3H female Chinook salmon. This is collected from the weir from all states, averaged. We're kind of on a decline. Right before 2020, we were doing pretty good. But now you can see it kind of goes up and down, but we're not looking very great at the moment. This is alewife biomass. So this is in metric tons here, or sorry, kilotons. All right, so you can see that back in the 90s here, we were doing really well, and then the zebra mussels hit and we crashed. And then right in the mid 2000s, we started to go up again, and now we're kind of going back down again. All right, then we have something called predation mortality. Are you guys familiar with that term? So that just means basically how many of these fish are dying because of eel or salmon eating. And you can see that here that we have our Chinook salmon statistical catch age-at model, the alewife statistical catch model, and then the Chinook biomass over alewife biomass and predation mortality. We're in the green area still. You can see back here we kind of got up into this red area where we had more Chinook were eating alewife than they could reproduce. All right, we're hanging tight there, but we're getting into a zone that's not so great. Okay. A lot of these surveys, so a lot of the decisions that are made surround how the alewife are doing, right? As far as Chinook salmon go. The more alewife we got, the more Chinook salmon we can sustain. The whole reason we have Chinook salmon was because of alewife, right? So what they do to figure this out is they do acoustic surveys, as well as midwater trawls, all right? Luckily, technology has gotten way better, and acoustics have gotten way better, so we can see these alewife fish much better. They're actually even starting to use satellite for this, which is excellent because think about it. They used to do this with fishing trawls. You're out there, you're towing a midwater trawl. There could be a giant ball of alewife over there that you can't see, but you're towing over here, you catch none. Well, there must be no alewife, right? So that's kind of how that was going. But now that we have really good acoustic telemetry or acoustic like fish finders, whatever, they can do that much, much better, and with the use of satellite as well. But these are all the areas that they conduct those surveys. Okay, what the numbers they get from those surveys is fed into the decision making on how much fish to stock. Does that make sense? So this is stuff to be aware of. I'm sure the Great Lakes Fishing Commission has all this information up on their website. And those are the guys who are really involved in trying to figure this all out. And, you know, it's the Great Lakes Fishing Commission, so they're the ones who are really involved in fishery. That would be the first place I would go if I was looking at trying to get some overall information from people that work for that. But yeah, that's all I really got. We're almost there on the new vessel. So that's still quite coming along.
Next question.
Yeah. So the new vessel update, I forgot to put a slide in about that. Right now we have $28 million raised, which is great. We had written a proposal to the state of Wisconsin to see if they could match that. And we've hired a project manager who's built a lot of research vessels to give us some expert advice on this. And we're very close as far as having enough money to build a vessel. But what we want to have is an endowment, okay? That's to help operate the vessel. So we have 28 million bucks to build it. I think it's going to cost around 32. And then we asked the state to match that number to use as an endowment. So that money just sits there, that collects interest. The interest off that money is what helps pay for the ship, my salary. So that's where we're at right now. We could build it with a couple more mil, but we'd have a really hard time funding the boat. So we need that endowment money. So they gave that information to the state legislature, and they said that they're gonna have to put it through the whole process. So that was a bummer. We thought hopefully, maybe Evers on his way out would say, sure, here you go. But they gave a bunch of money to the farmers, and they're all gonna give us some like $100 rebate check or something like that, I heard. I don't know if you guys have heard of all that kind of stuff too.
Property
That's
tax refunds.
where that money went. So we'll see what happens. We're still moving forward and we're doing the best we can. I'm super stoked about it. I hope it does happen. But for the meantime, the Niske is a great vessel. It's just a little small, but we do have all the bells and whistles that any other research vessel would have, including the brand new sonar that I got a grant for a couple of years ago. That really puts us over the top. We probably have one of the best sonars on Lake Michigan right now. I just wish that the ceilings were a little higher and we had a little bit more room.
Yes. Yes.
Well, maybe if we were just.
But I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have. Now or later.
How about the natural produced salmon? How's that introduced in your mathematics?
I had a bunch of slides on that as well. I didn't put them in because I didn't think we'd have enough time. But I think there's about 6 to 8 million naturally reproduced salmon that show up that they've seen. So
What's that percentage,
I don't off the top of my head. I can get that stuff to Josh. This is all from the Great Lakes Fishing Commission, the stuff that I saw. So I do know it plays a really big part, and I'm sure that you guys know that a lot of that happens over on
Michigan
the Michigan
side.
side.
Do we see any in Wisconsin side at some marginal level?
Very small.
Yeah.
I would say in such a level that it's not even.
Yeah.
We just don't have the rivers
Yeah.
habitat. So that's unfortunate, but they're trying to do things to help that. I mean, they took a bunch of dams out.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that we need.
Ours comes out later this year, starts the process, and there's some areas upstream that might have opportunity for spawning.
Yeah.
For successful spawning.
We did a class through UWM that we were seining up, I forget which river, but we did catch some juvenile, very tiny little salmon.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Okay. Other questions?
It's very well put.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wasn't sure if be able to keep them with the potential for storms tonight too, but we're able to get them out. Mike, how you doing? We got 3 gift cards to raffle off for the membership.
What do we got today?
We have Culver's on Douglas Avenue. I have 2 of the 3, and they're for the amounts of $25, $50, and $100.
Which one we gonna do first?
Let's do 25 first.
25, okay.
Have someone random anyone pick. Lily, do you have the list for the onlines?
Yeah, it's right here. in my
All right, for the people online, we do have a list as well.
All right, the last 4 numbers, 6047. Over in the corner.
All right. Oh, Hinge. Awesome. And since you won, pick the next one for the $50 card.
How many online? Yes.
Oh, 6-3.
Was it?
63.
Alex Brinkman.
I'll take it.
Yep. Suspicious individual over here with no name.
Grandpa.
All right, Grandpa, draw the. Well, he's still in it.
Yeah, I'm
Hey, have Ange do it again because I'm still in it too.
I've got your ticket.
Yeah. $100 final gift card.
Draw it again.
Yeah, because Dave's still in it, so don't want him drawing for himself.
Oh, you do.
6-0, 6-2.
Get out of here. That's Justin. Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Finishing up, we've got the upcoming meeting and events. As Jim said, that's a big one. Our next club meeting, July 8th, Wednesday. We need every member we can to come down and volunteer. There's a lot to haul down from storage. We got stuff in my rental garage, being the kids' fish pond, to get out there and set up. Multiple yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it? Multiple trailerfuls of stuff to get down and get established. So, Jim, what time are you planning on starting access at the site where people can come down and help with loading?
Well, if people are available during the day, we'll be loading trailers during the day.
Yeah.
But primarily, we say around 4 o'clock.
At the grounds, yeah.
But
So early on, if you can, if you're available, he would love to have help with loading those initial loads onto the trailers. And then 4 o'clock and after, any time you can get down, we'll have food. We're also going to have raffles for the membership at that meeting. That is a meeting. It'll be the Chick-fil-A, who also has been a generous sponsor for this year's Salmon-a-Rama. And then obviously Friday the 10th, it all kicks off. And then beyond that, Jim Mueller was offering to be a guest speaker for August. So I'm looking to button that up with him. But again, that point and going forward, we're always open to hearing. Please communicate with us if you have interest in speakers or topics. It's like we want to know what you want to hear to bring into the club meetings. And I think that is, yeah, that's everything. Anything else? Any announcements from the club members? No? Otherwise, thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's coming up tomorrow.
What's that?
He's coming up.
Justin said that kid will eat all of it too.
I got on the recording.
Oh.
Here, you toss that in here and I'll go through it.
Yeah.
You're a riot.
Yes.
Looks like we're gonna get decent rain.
You interested at all in that slip or no?
Oh, no.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I am half between one and two things. I'm either going to stay at Reef Point because I can move over to the west side in the old stuff because they don't have a spot for me in the new area. And I'll keep the same rate I'm at, have pools and that. But if I want to save a little money, and if I don't want to walk, I'm probably going to go over across the way because Dan's currently halfway through rebuilding the fish cleaning station at Charlton.
Oh, because we're right on the river.
Yeah, you're on the south side, right?
On the south side of the river.
Yeah, yeah. Those never, and Brian, my neighbor, Brian Nelson has a couple of those things too. So it's just you gotta pay for parking and there's no fish cleaning station. So
I got you.
yeah, it's like even Reef Point. I was telling Suzanne, I'm like, I feel guilty about paying more point slip because like she won't get out of the pool. She's like, it's too cold because of the lake freeze. I'm like, the pool's heated, the hot tubs are heated. So I said, maybe I should like go into the river, like to the riverside of the old few slips or maybe here. And she's like, no, for as much as you like to fish or out there, she goes, go where you want to be. and I'm like, all right, because I'm carrying the load financially, income wise. So I'm like, I'm thinking for the family, and she's like, no, that's your sanity. So yeah,
It's cool, man.
yeah.
But if you know of anyone,
Yep.
we'd like to sell.
Okay, what are you asking on the price for right now? 8. Okay, yeah. And then what's the monthly?
150.
All year round, right?
Yeah, all year round.
Yeah, so it's our 1,800 a year for that. Okay.
I mean, if we can find someone to rent it for the rest of the season,
Oh yeah.
that'd be great too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we had it.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian had 2. He had one and he was renting one. And then for the third time now, he's bought and sold boats a couple times where he's like cleaned them up and flipped them. And his son's like pulling his hair out because he's fishing with me. But they get a boat and Liam's like all excited about it and then they never use it. For God's sake, Brian, take your kid out fishing.
Yeah, those are great.
Take more if you have spots like this.
Between here and Kenosha, there's a river that runs over the got a couple spots in the trail.
Yeah, I'll bring some in next time.
I don't know.
Yeah, they probably don't. Up until Jim and I, nobody was tracking and saying he was doing it until the whole festival hall thing kind of blew out. Now Jim and I were like watching every meeting, for news to see what's going on. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, we were nervous because like the standoff, they were like giving it until like yesterday to sign, but it's like he made a point to Saints on the Lake Festival that's like even if he didn't sign and refuse and they decided they were going with someone else, they still have to give him 6 months notice before they get his service. So because of that, at least this year we should be fine. But it's like great, but that doesn't solve for next year. Like we start locking in bands and buying stuff in August. Yeah, and so like we're afraid to commit to anything next year until it's kind of up and up.
Huh?
You're moving in?
No, that goes with me every time. Every meeting.
I forgot to mention that. You would also need the boat?
Yeah, that's as much as I don't have the time. I literally am at capacity with what I'm doing, and that's part of the dilemma. It's like I'd like to. Of the 4 nonprofit boards I serve on, we're the only one that have an executive director.
We're so
And we probably do other groups like Win. We probably do
it's good.
as
I like
much
to
or more
talk.
than the other organizations in terms of like activities involved that could use one. So, do I have checks for you guys?
I don't think so.
Jack-
I don't think we didn't. We didn't
Oh,
get
did you?
anything. Yeah, we didn't get anything this week.
Okay.
We were losers.
Hey, we weren't there.
Yeah, we skipped.
Yeah.
It was rough though. I mean, there was a couple boats that did really well, of course, but it was rough.
It was tough fishing.